Israelis believe this ancient text and promise is as live today as in the past, and therefore underpins and supports their case for possessing the Holy Land, a terrain that here looks incredibly romantic and peaceful, but which we know is tragically a scene of turmoil, conflict, misery, all because of the promise made right here where I'm standing now.
The following morning, I leave Jordan for the promised land of the Israelites. We drive along the banks of the Dead Sea towards Jerusalem. It's a city which is holy to three of the world's great religions, yet for centuries has been divided by fear and suspicion.
The Temple Mount in Jerusalem is my treasure because it contained one of the most inspirational and mysterious buildings in the world. A building which, according to the Old Testament, was designed according to God's own specifications, and in its forms, details, proportions and contents enshrined and revealed the laws of beauty and harmony and the secrets of creation.
Most of Solomon's temple has long since vanished, destroyed by King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylon 2,500 years ago. But Jews, Christians and Muslims each viewed Temple Mount as sacred. Now, a late 7th century Islamic shrine, the Dome of the Rock, stands on the top. Before the rise of the Christian and Islamic faiths, 3 great temples were built in succession on Temple Mount, the focus of worship for the ancient Israelites going back 3 millennia.
The last reconstruction of the temple took place in about 20 BC, undertaken by King Herod. And that wall in front of me, the lower portion anyway, dates from that time with these spectacular, very large, beautifully cut blocks. This portion of the western wall of the temple is known universally as the Wailing Wall, the site most sacred to Jews. People there are praying, men on the left, women on the right, praying towards the wall, putting little messages, prayers in the chinks of the wall. They're not praying to the stones. It's more abstract than that. They're praying to the heart of the Temple Mount, to the foundation stone, enshrined, buried within the mount, which, they believe, was where God started his creation.
So how did a site venerated by Jews and Christians end up having Islamic buildings on top of it? In 638 AD, Muslim forces captured Jerusalem and built a mosque and their own shrine, the Dome of the Rock, on the mount. Today is one of the most tense and fought over places on earth. The top of the mount is administered by Muslim Palestinians, but is ultimately under the control of Israel. Beneath the dome is a huge and rough-hewn lump of rock. This is what Temple Mount is all about. The rock is sacred to Muslims, Jews and Christians because they all believe it to be the place where Abraham, the primary patriarch of all 3 religions, planned to sacrifice his son, Isaac. In addition, for Islam, it is a rock from which Muhammad ascended to heaven. But there's another reason why Temple Mount means so much to all three faiths. The Temple of Solomon is said to have been home to the Ark of the Covenant, God's throne on earth, and a casket containing the 10 Commandments as handed down from God to Moses.
So what happened to the Ark of the Covenant, this great treasure of the Israelites? Well, there's been much speculation over the centuries, but really no one knows. The Ark, it is said, stood in the Holy of Holies in Solomon's temple, and it could have been hidden in a secret chamber deep in the mount just before Nebuchadnezzar destroyed the temple, and the Ark could be there to this day. There's also another story. Solomon had a son by the Queen of Sheba, and Solomon gave his son the Ark to take back to his homeland, Ethiopia.
Many have searched in vain for the Ark of the Covenant, including crusaders after they captured Jerusalem in the late 11th century. I too am determined to take up the quest, however unlikely. Ethiopia's problems of war, famine and poverty are all too well known. But looking down on the land is beautiful, fertile, lush, with valleys, gorges and plateaux. It looks like the Garden of Eden.